I should be like you, Mel.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And this is On the Sidelines with myself, Matt, and my co-host, Paul from Oz. It's been a while, Paul, but it's good to see you once again. How you doing? Give us the weather update, as you normally would.
Yeah, I'm really good, Matt. 22 degrees at the moment. It's 7:05 at night, and we've had a 30-degree day here. Been great. We've got a bit of a warm one tomorrow coming up, 35 tomorrow. So I'm not really looking forward to that. But that's Australia. You know, it's the way it is at times. But yeah, I've been looking forward to doing this, Matt. Great. I'm really interested in this new show. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's been nice to come up with some ideas for it with you in the background, which we've been working on together over the last sort of few weeks. But yeah, no, it's really good. And obviously this show, we're going to be talking about obviously AFC Bournemouth related news and topics, but also we'll be discussing other things as well throughout the series with in terms of Premier League news as well, and sometimes beyond as well with that. And we will also be including a music feature each week, but the music feature has a connection to football. All will be revealed a little bit later on how it will work. But yeah, just to try and combine both myself and Paul's passion of music as well as football. And to do that, we thought we'd come up with an idea of how can we connect both football and music. So like I say, all will be revealed a little bit later on. But Paul, haven't seen you since obviously before Christmas. I'm assuming you had a nice Christmas and nice New Year. How was it out in Oz?
Yeah, Australia's great. It's just funny weather. Like, the past week we've had strange temperatures here for summer. 15 degrees through the day. That's not January in Australia. But apart from that, mate, everything's A1. Everything's going well. And I love the idea, I think, combining football and music. I mean, two of life's great treasures, aren't they? Yeah. The deeper you go into all of it, it's great stuff. Why not combine it? And this is a weekly show, Matt, as such, and we will have a different band every week.
Yes, we will do. Yeah, we'll have a different band, a different musical act each week, which we will discuss the connections to football and obviously our passion on why we like that act as well, which is going to be quite interesting. Paul, what have you felt about recent form? We're going to touch on AFC Bournemouth, a couple of topics that we're going to discuss, but just on the recent form, obviously pre-Christmas, form wasn't great, but improvement in terms of performances of late. What's been your sort of take on recent results and events?
I think we've become the draw specialists at the moment, and I believe the only reason for that is a bit of bad luck, but at the same time, it's an understatement to say we're short of players. I mean, and I think all true Bournemouth fans would understand that, never rains but it pours. Of course, Antoine goes to City, and Tavernier got a hamstring. We've got so many players going down. Brooksy won't be fit for this weekend. Class players, with Premier League experience not available. And thank goodness we've got Andoni at the helm, because he seems to be coping with what's going on. I mean, I think it's a combination of bad luck, injuries, and when things go like that, everything seems to happen, doesn't it? Overhead kicks 2 games in a row, so how often is that going to happen? But,
I think we've got the highest amount of injuries that any Premier League side has. I think we've got 8 injuries at the minute. But we will touch on today's game a little bit later on. Obviously, the Dean Court Social is out. That's where my views and opinions will be all on there. So Paul will take the lead on the Liverpool game later on here, give us his views and his opinions. But before we get on to some AFC Bournemouth topics, let's jump in and say hello to our good friends in the chat. First of all, familiar face, David DaCosta. Good luck to the dynamic duo. Matt and Paul, looking forward to the new show. 35 degrees here in Melbourne. Have I said that right before I get told off by Nick? Melbourne, is Melbourne, yeah.
Melbourne.
As I was saying, Melbourne, wasn't I? It's Melbourne. Nearly as hot as your show. All the very best. Yeah, cheers, David. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're well. Malcolm, good to see you. Good morning, Matt and Paul, from a -4 in Berlin.
Wow.
Looking forward to the new show. Yeah, great to have you with us, Mal, as always. I wish it was -4 here. It is very, very windy, but at least it's not raining at the minute. But it's very, very windy here. And I've heard the wind throughout the night, so I think they've been pretty strong. So, but yeah, I would probably swap this for the -4 you've got there, Mal, to be fair.
Is that forecast for the game, Matt? Is that high wind going to hang around?
Do you know what? I haven't really looked at the weather for the last couple of days. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, if it does hang around, it will obviously have some effect on the game this afternoon. Well, this evening, tea time, for the 5:30 kickoff. So yeah, David saying morning to Mal, and Mal saying morning back to David. It's nice to see all the interaction here. Good to see you, Chris. Hope you're well, buddy. He's saying morning to Mal, morning to Chris from Mal. It's great to see everybody interacting here. Vanessa, good to see you. I'm sure the gang are watching. Good morning from us all. Looking forward to the new show. And thank you very much for joining us. And I think another member of the family have arrived here, Paul.
Oh, Nick. Oh, hey, Nick. That's my son-in-law. Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. I remembered the name there. So, maybe the gang are watching us there as well, which is...
they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Chris, to Mal, how are you doing? I'm sure Mal will respond to you very shortly, Chris. David Turin, good morning, Matt. Paul, good to see you back. Always look forward to the weather forecast.
I'm in the wrong job, Matt. I should be a weather forecaster, a worldwide one.
Yeah. Maybe rather than combining football and music, maybe we should have combined in football and weather. But yeah, great new show from Julie there. Nice to see you, Julie. Thanks for joining us. And Tom is tuning in also.
Tommy Talbot, Wolves player.
Yes, good to see you, Tom, as well. Hope you're well. Hope he's still keeping up that football. Is he still playing?
At the moment, it's off season, but they start in about 3 weeks' time, I think, and then it'll be full on for
Yeah,
Tom down at Wollongong. Yeah, he'll
yeah. I
be
bet
into it.
he's itching to get back to it as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's jump on to the Bournemouth related news then, Paul. So a new signing through the door this week. We've managed to sign Alex Toth, Hungarian international, a young player, only the age of 20, but is said to have a very, very bright future in the game. He's been allocated the squad number 27 for Bournemouth. He looks set to be involved in some kind of capacity today. But yes, a defensive midfielder, someone who's got a high intensity, good in the tackle. Sounds like to be an aggressive player, kind of give you that bit of bite in the midfield, maybe similar to someone like Adams, for example. Not 100% certain. But the footage I've seen of him on YouTube, he looks like he's going to be a very, very good asset to Bournemouth. So very excited about this one, Paul. I spoke a little bit about him on the Dean Court Social, which is out now on the channel. But Paul, what do you make of this signing? Because I'm quite excited by it.
Yeah, look, I think it's along the line of Milos Kerkez. I think obviously they've talked about Bournemouth. You'd imagine they would be in both from Hungary, wouldn't you, and in the national team. And he's obviously given the green light to, I think you pronounce it Toth. Is that right?
I believe so, but
yeah.
my pronunciation's not always right.
Yeah, and he looks, what can I say? I think Andoni will give him an hour. I think how he gets that hour, whether he'll start Ryan Christie and do a swap at some point, 3/4 of an hour maybe, I definitely think he'll get on the field, even if he doesn't start. Because I think with Ryan coming back from his injury crisis that he's had, he's just got right. And if he can avoid giving Ryan Christie an hour and a half, I think he'll perhaps filter Ryan in and out with this guy. I think we'll see him. I think he'll be on. And, he looks the part, doesn't he? He's got a lot of energy, which is what we need in that midfield. But, yeah, looking forward to seeing him. Well, it kicks off here, unfortunately, at 4:30 in the morning. So I might be an hour behind you. But I shall be watching. As Dave says, Robbie Keane rates the new boy very highly. Yeah, be good to see. You'll be at the game, Matt?
Yeah, I'll be at the game. So yeah, looking very forward to it, whether he's going to start or whether we see him during the game. Do you know what? Part of me thinks, after having a little bit more of a thought about it, I mean, in the social, I think we named him on the bench, if I remember rightly. But now part of me's thinking, why not just chuck him in? Let's see what.
I think he might. Yeah.
So, and obviously with the issues with wingers, being injured and things like that, maybe Christie might have to be, available to be, to play in more of a forward position like he used to. These injuries, I'm sure, things will have to be adapted. But yeah, very excited to see the player here. I think
was he 10 million, wasn't he, Matt? Around that price?
I think it was 10.4 million, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Bargain.
Yeah, I think so. And from what they project in terms of his development, I think he's going to be worth a lot more than that in a few years to come. So brilliant bit of scouting and recruitment again from the club. It's obviously we've had Kerkez, recently who came in. It was a bit of a rough diamond, but developed under Andoni and become a great left back. And look at him now, and I'm sure this guy is going to be very, very excited to work under the talents of Andoni, and playing in the Premier League. I'm sure is going to be a very exciting prospect for him.
Strange, isn't it? Possible first appearance tomorrow, and who's he going to be facing? Milos Kerkez.
Yeah.
They'll be shaking hands after the game, I hope. But you know what I love? I saw the interview with him, and he's so keen. He looks as if he's really keen and very, very happy. And I love to see that in a young player coming to a new club. So great. Good luck to him.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, let's see how he develops. I'm sure he's going to, develop into, say a world-class player. But, when you look at the work Andoni has done with, bringing players on, I definitely think that, for any player of this guy's kind of age, and ability, coming to this football club at the minute, I think is very, very exciting, for not only you, personally at this stage of your career, but for your career development as well. So, exciting. Going to be interesting to see him. Malcolm says there, look, it's like a promising signing, which he does. Guys in the chat, just chucking your views and your and opinions as we're chatting through these topics. Just let us know what you think. Always great to have your interaction. Just very quickly, wish him good luck today. Absolutely, Malcolm. Yeah, let's hope if he does start, or if he is introduced to the game as a substitute, let's hope he puts in a confident performance for himself. Let's hope he hits the ground running, as they say. But yeah, I think he will. I've got a lot of faith in this guy, I think, and definitely the future. And I think, there's other transfer stuff going on as well, isn't there? Which is, I think, Ryan, the Brazilian winger. I think from reading stuff late last night, looks like within the next 24 hours, that deal should be done, which is then another exciting prospect to come in, who looks set to be the long term.
Yeah, if anybody watching hasn't seen the what do you call it? The form that the way he plays, it's on YouTube. Have a look at 5 minutes of him. My goodness me, he's fast. This guy, Rain. If we get him, he's fast, isn't he?
Yeah, myself and Craig were discussing that in the social. There's a bit of footage, isn't there, where he flicks the ball over his head, and he looks absolutely phenomenal. So that one over the line, hopefully soon. And then, of course, there's some other speculation and talks going on as well, as there always is during the transfer window. So I'm sure they won't be the last signings. There's also a rumour about a goalkeeper as well. But we do have the transfer show tomorrow evening, 9 p.m. UK time, where Craig and Manny will be discussing all the done deals, speculation surrounding Bournemouth, and some other news, transfer news from around the Premier League as well. So there will be some more transfer stuff coming out, and that'll be out on tomorrow night. That'll be a live show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Malcolm, I saw clips online, very exciting prospect. And this is the great thing, isn't it, Malcolm? Okay, so it's always disappointing to lose the players. Not Malcolm, sorry, you're Paul. Malcolm's in the chat. I'm getting confused. So, it's always disappointing, isn't it, to lose, the players that we have lost, your Dean Housens, now your Semenyo. Always disappointing to lose these players, but, it is just part of the parcel of the game, isn't it? And we've got to trust the recruitment department. The recruitment's been excellent for the club, hasn't it?
Yeah, I watched Andoni, he does his 15-minute press conference, and I was watching him. He was getting quizzed on there, and you could read between the lines of what he was talking about. He never gives too much away, but I could reading between the lines, he was intimating there could be another 2 players in before the end of the transfer deadline. So let's hope. I mean, I know he'll want another winger. I think he'll want 2 wingers because our situation at the moment, but we'll see. So good news.
Yeah, definitely. So we shall keep watching and see who comes through and joins AFC Bournemouth between now and the closing of the transfer window. So some AFC Bournemouth kind of related news, but also some A-League Australian related news. So everything seems to tie in here. And that is the transfer of a certain former Bournemouth player, in the shape of Ryan Fraser. So former Cherries player Ryan Fraser has joined Australian A-League side Western Sydney Wanderers. Now, that is an hour and 20 minutes roughly away from where Paul is based.
Yep.
Fraser, now 31, leaves Southampton and has agreed a deal to the end of the current season in Australia. Fraser has said, I wanted to do something different out of my comfort zone, and instead of signing for another club in the English Championship, after already playing in England for 13 years, I felt this opportunity was too good to turn down to help the club and to help the club to get back to where they want to be. That's what he's told the club website. So yeah, an interesting one, Paul, when the news broke with this one yesterday. You sent me a message, I think about 6:30 yesterday morning UK time, and our good friend Nick sent you the information yesterday, which you sent straight through to me. Got to agree with AFCB Sydney on this one. Hope you're well. Definitely agree with that. This is not somebody who I really ever mention or like to really speak about.
I know. And you sent him over to me, Nick. Sorry, you sent him over. I'm calling you Nick now. You've sent him over to me, Matt. I don't know, an hour and 20 up the road.
An interesting one. I know. Like the A League. You don't watch much of the A League and stuff like that. But what do you know about the club that he's joined?
I believe they're one of the older clubs in the A League. As I say, they're an hour and 20 minutes up the road from me. But before I forget, I would like to say a quick shout out to Nick in Sydney for that tip. You know, as you say, I nearly fell through the floor when I heard that one. But Nick is a great guy. He supported Bournemouth all his life. And also he runs his own channel, which is called Nick's World of Football. And he released a show yesterday about George Best, I think, which was rather interesting. He sent me a clip of that, but it was very kind of him to give me a tip off, because I would have missed that one. But as somebody said, my friend Dave DeCosta said, he played for Newcastle under Eddie, and we have a team called Newcastle there you go. And we have a team called Newcastle up the road, 3 hours up the road. It's funny you didn't go to Newcastle, but if you'd have got any further away from Southampton, mate, another 3 hours, he'd have started coming back again. So he's that far away from all this controversy that followed him around in England. But be interesting, won't it? Be interesting to see how he goes. I believe the A-League standard, and I want to be polite, respectful. I believe it's top of Division 1. British-wise, British League, English football. I don't think it's much better than that, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine there, and it is until the end of the season, and then I guess they'll choose what they want to do with him, won't they? But interesting, Asian League champions. There you go, 214. So at the moment they're up there. I believe they're about fourth in the table in the A League at the moment. So yeah.
Interesting. Well, what you'll have to do for us then, Paul, each week is give us a Fraser update on how he's getting on out there. So
only if you pay me, Matt.
Yeah. Well, interesting bit of news there. That obviously
I will say one thing. He's in for a baptism of fire, mate, if he thinks he's going to come over here. Because like tomorrow, 35-degree heat. Sometimes the A-League play on a Saturday, sometimes they'll play on a Sunday. You see how he copes playing in 35 degrees. Completely different ball game from Scotland, Bournemouth and Newcastle, Southampton temperatures. I've played, well, obviously I played in England, when I was playing soccer, and I've played over here. And I tell you what, you get out there, mate, 35 degrees, you don't want to be out there. You don't want to be out there. It's horrible. Different. It's like having a hairdryer in your face. But move on, laddie. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's I mean, playing out here when it's hot is bad enough. So, what it must be like playing in that kind of heat.
You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. No,
definitely not. So with the AFC Bournemouth related news, obviously I'm sure everybody has seen it, but this is from AFCB.co.uk, and it's the stadium which has been given the go-ahead by BCP. The approved works will deliver significant improvements to the stadium's infrastructure and matchday experience. These include the installation of a new perimeter fence and turnstiles, revisions to pedestrian and cycling routes, the creation of a new outside broadcast area, enclosure of the terraces within the West Stand. Together, these developments will enhance safety, accessibility, and operational efficiency while laying the groundwork for the future phases of the club's ambitious redevelopment plans. The enabling works represent a viral step towards creating a modernised Vitality Stadium that reflects AFC Bournemouth's growth on and off the pitch. There's a bit there as well about what Bill Foley, the owner of the club, has said, and this is what he's said is this is an exciting and important moment for the club. Our proposed new stadium reflects not only our ambition on the pitch but also our commitment to investing in the community. The project will deliver long-term benefits for supporters, local residents, and the wider region beyond the BCP area. Paul, big news, good news, but I think Bill's right there. Obviously, the council, given the go-ahead and approving this is going to benefit, the whole community and beyond. In the future, isn't it? And also very, very important to the football club's development. So I think this is, massive that they've now obviously, approved these plans.
I totally agree, mate. It's jobs for unemployed people in the club, and you're going to see bits and pieces going on. I believe they had an agreement. They put in place an agreement at the start of this season, Bournemouth, with the football. With the Premier League to have the last game away from home and the first game next season away from home. So that gives Bournemouth an extra 2 weeks to carry on with the expansion. But it's exciting. People that are longing to buy a season ticket, that at least they're going to have an opportunity to get a season ticket, I think it's great. And we went through Eddie, with Eddie, King Eddie, Sir Eddie, whatever you want to call him, highest accolades from me, and the legacy we got at the stadium. And he always wanted a training ground. We never got it. We got a great team. We got great football from Eddie, but there was nothing in the background. But with Bill, it looks like he's a man of his word. I mean, it's happening right in front of our eyes, isn't it? Which is wonderful. For long term for the club, it's brilliant. Brilliant. They're not going to pull it down, are they? But brilliant.
Yeah, the dream is slowly becoming the reality, and obviously there's a couple of images there of how it's going to look.
With they were talking about 24,000 or 22,000. Do you think they'll fill it? In your opinion?
Absolutely.
You do?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, because there will be more away fans being able to travel, won't there? Because at the moment they get 1,000 tickets or something, don't they? But,
there's always a capacity percentage, isn't there? But no, this is massively exciting times, isn't it? And obviously we will keep an eye on the developments on how things develop with that. Just let's quickly jump back into the chat before we have a look at the Premier League fixtures for this weekend and discuss those very quickly. Let's jump into the chat. AFCB Sydney, we'll send Ryan a little gift next week. Excellent. You have to let us know what that is. Exciting times, definitely, David. Exciting times indeed. Malcolm, Paul will remember the old days of promises about rebuilding the stadium. This is a dream.
Harold Walker.
The Walker stand, which I think started, and if I remember rightly, was left there to go rusty for quite a few years before they pulled down the start of the store's work, didn't they? Yes. So it's a dream. I mean, I remember with the current one, and it's when the three sides of the current one was built, and we were all excited about that then. But this is this is the next level now, isn't it? And Arise, Sir Paul.
Who's? Oh, that's Ian. That's a friend of mine. I don't quite understand that, but interesting comment.
I think it's because you were talking about Sir Eddie, so I think he's saying.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
I think that's what it is, but
do
correct me if I'm wrong, Ian. But yeah, thank you for joining us. It's great to see you, Ian. Thank you. And Chris, can't wait to see Alex play today. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Me either. I can't wait. I think he's going to be, a great player. So, not long to wait, mate.
Question for Chris. Chris, do you go to every home game? Just send in your comments, and whereabouts are you in the ground? Be interested to know, because I see you're on here all the time. Be lovely to know that you're there. That you're there every fortnight. Maybe Matt can fill me in on that. I'm not sure, but Chris goes every game.
Let's see what he says. Let's.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
I think he does. I'm pretty certain he does. But let's see what Chris says. I'm not 100% certain on it, so but I'm pretty certain he does. Okay, Paul, exciting weekend of Premier League fixtures as always. We're not going to discuss the Bournemouth Liverpool one just yet, but let's have a quick look at this weekend's Premier League fixtures. So today's fixtures, we've got West Ham United and Sunderland at 12:30, and then the 3 o'clock kickoffs with Burnley playing Tottenham at Turf Moor, Fulham host Brighton, and Wolves have the trip to Manchester City. Some interesting ones there, Paul. Any really stand out for you that you think might be a game that you'd fancy watching?
Well, if I had my choice, there's 2 games I'd love to go to. One is Burnley Spurs or Burnley Tottenham, for obvious reasons, because if Burnley beat Spurs, it's going to be on for 1 and all again, isn't it?
I think it's going to be a bit of an awkward one if they beat Spurs today.
I know. And you know what? Anything can happen in this game, mate. Anything can happen. That's one I'd love to be at. The other one,
fair play to Burnley. They got a draw at Anfield recently, so
I know.
anything can happen there.
And the other game, obviously, Antoine involved at home against Wolves. Be exciting to see what he does in the highlights later on in the day. And the last one, the first one's interesting too, West Ham Sunderland, due to Callum Wilson's situation with him. Apparently he's on a game-to-game contract, and he scored the winner, didn't he? In the last game, in the last minute. So
93rd minute, he scored the winner against Spurs, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I know he scored the winner against somebody, Matt. But
I think pretty certain it was Spurs. There's a bit of talk about him recently. There was 1 minute they were gonna let him go, and now he's he's contributing to the side. An interesting one. I know he's been linked to Leicester and Celtic and some other clubs, even going out to Saudi, I think, as well. So there's a lot of interest in him if he was to leave West Ham. But I think, at the minute, I think when you're down there and you're fighting to stay in the league, a striker like Callum Wilson, whether he starts or he comes off the bench, is handy to have. So, Sunderland, excellent season. Obviously, they're strong. They're strongest at home, I think, if I remember rightly. I think they're home, but I don't think they've been at home this season, have they? Which is an absolutely excellent record for a side that's just been promoted. Tricky game for West Ham. That'd be an interesting watch at 12:30. But that's the Saturday fixtures. Obviously, we do have the later on fixture, the Bournemouth versus Liverpool fixture, which we will discuss next. Well, I say next, but next we're going to discuss Sundays. And this is Sunday's fixtures. Brentford host Forest. Palace will play Chelsea. That could be quite an interesting one. Newcastle United Villa. Now, I think that would be the one of the 2 o'clock kickoffs that I think I would watch if I was to pick. Villa are right up there, aren't they, at the minute? And they are looking to keep up the chase with the title race. So I think that would be quite an interesting watch. And then, of course, you've got Arsenal, Manchester United. at 4:30. Now, for some reason, Paul, I'm not too sure why, but I've been saying it all week. I got a funny feeling Arsenal are going to slip up tomorrow.
Wow. Well, yeah, they haven't looked as fluent as they have been earlier in the season, have they? I know what you're saying, but are they 6-7 points clear, aren't they now? I think 7 points, I think, clear. They're due something. They're due a draw, or they're due something, because that seems to be the way Arsenal go. They have this magnificent run, and then suddenly they'll lose a game unexpectedly. You could well be right, mate, because Manchester United, I mean, I know we beat them every season, but they do have some quality players.
Beat them every season.
Well, we seem to, don't we?
It's nice to see that, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it, mate. I hope we beat them at Bournemouth when they're coming up along shortly. But
Absolutely.
yeah, and the other thing is Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Matt. They're on current form. I think Palace are bottom of the current form table. They've, with the manager leaving, etc., and the players now.
He hasn't left. Well, not yet. But
yes,
yeah.
At the end of the season, correct. Yeah. That's going to be an interesting game. I think I'd be putting my money on Chelsea for that one. But Eddie versus Villa, yeah, another great game. I mean, Eddie's teams are always exciting, aren't they? Whoever he plays, I like watching Newcastle too. Good players there. Love it. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I just got a funny feeling Arsenal might slip up tomorrow, but let's see. And then the Monday night kickoff, it's Everton versus Leeds United at 8 p.m. Yeah, that one doesn't actually excite me at all, so I probably won't watch that.
No, well, Everton have hit form, haven't they? The last few weeks, they're climbing up the table slowly, but it doesn't do a lot for me either. But I might watch the second half. If there's a game like that and it's live over here, I'll get up and I'll watch the second half or something. And often it's 0-0 at half time anyway. So I know what you mean. There are some fixtures that are more interesting than others, Matt.
There is. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Let's jump back into the chat quickly before we go on to Paul's feature. Will Spurs be Spursy again after the game against Dortmund in the week? Now, they got a good result in the Champions League, didn't they? So, yeah, be interesting to see. I mean, I think David has hit the nail on the head with depends on what Spurs team turns up.
He knows.
That is the answer. But yeah. David is going with a 3-0 win to Spurs. So, yeah, let's see, David. Colin Peterson is in. Great show, Matt and Paul. Cheers, Colin.
Cool.
Up the Cherries.
Yep, that's friend of mine, Colin. Winslow is near Bundanoon. In the country out there, beautiful spot. And hi, Colin. Thanks for commenting. You're always welcome, mate. Always welcome. He's on. He wants to see Pink Floyd. I think he's waiting for that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, someone's giving it away. If you haven't already guessed with the title of the podcast, but hey,
we can't cut that. We can't cut that out, can we? Because we're live.
We can't. When you're live, Paul. I'm gonna have to sack the co-host already. Great show, Matt and Paul up the Cherries.
Yellow card. Yep.
And Grealish is injured, isn't he? And he's been performing really well for Everton recently. Leeds could spring a surprise. They could well do. That is a very, very good point. They could. I think I remember watching the Leeds Everton game earlier on in the season. I think that was a Monday night game as well, actually. I remember watching that, and I've got a funny feeling that was a draw, that one, but I might be wrong. Paul, so we play Liverpool this weekend. We're going to get your thoughts on the game very, very shortly, but let's take you back about 57 years, Paul, which is not too long ago.
I'm not that old, Matt. I can't remember.
Only 17 years before I was born. But yes, AFC Bournemouth versus Liverpool, FA Cup third round on the 27th so very close to today's date. 27th of January 1968. The game was held at Dean Court with an attendance of 24,388, and one of those was Paul, who was in the stand in Block E, and there's a picture there of the programme. I remember I've actually got some of those programs somewhere. I think you actually gave me a program that very similar to that, Paul, when you come over from Oz recently. So, Paul, we're going to go back through some of your memories. Obviously, you've sent some info on this, which we're going to take a look at now. But let's have a look at the teams first. The Bournemouth team is a nice picture here of the Bournemouth team. And a list of the players who started the game that day. As you can see, there's only one substitute there. And the substitute, if I remember rightly, Paul, was only allowed to come on if there was a player injured. Is that right?
Genuine injury in a completely different world on the football field, mate. Genuine injury only. And I can remember the jeers from the Bournemouth crowd when they pretend to go down injured. I mean, what's changed? Nothing's changed in that era, is it? But in this era, they're all rolling around today. But it would have to be a genuine injury in those days. That's how it started.
Yeah. And there's some great names there as well. Roger Jones, Terry Gulliver, David Stocks, who I've had the privilege of sitting down with and doing an interview with. A lovely guy, David. Great book as well. If you haven't read his autobiography, it's called In the Shadows. It's a great book. Ronnie Bolton, another name. Ray Bumstead. There's so many names there that, Keith East. There's so many names there that obviously I never saw play, but I've always heard like my dad talk about, and other people talk about. And the team photo there, there's I think there's Roy Gator in there as well. I mean, there's some great names there, isn't there, Paul, from yesteryear?
Yeah. And a couple of interesting things on that team. You look at that team, and if you're a regular at the time, you'll see a lad down here, Eddie Rowles, down the bottom. Can you see him? He would have been. I think he used to play left wing because Ray Bumstead was on the right wing. He started in the first team at 16, and at that point in time, he was 17. To be in that team against Liverpool, he was 17. I don't know what he went. I don't remember him going on to be doing too great of things, but very young. John Hold, the substitute. I like John Hold, centre forward. He was 19. Was quite a balance in there of players. Ronnie Bolton was the captain, and I'm sure Malcolm will know a lot of these players, so they'd have to. But like you said in the photo there, I look at that and I can see, great players. That's David. Maybe I'm not sure. I can't quite see if that's David Best next to Roger Jones or not. Not sure. I think
Stocksy is at the back there.
Right.
He's up there, but I'm not too sure who the other one is next to Roger Jones.
It might be Dennis Longhorn. He was in the squad from memory. It might be. But just moving on from that, as you say, 24,388. I mean, you look at the ground today and the capacity is 11.4, isn't it, max? 11.4.
Just under that, yeah.
And from memory, I think the South End was bigger in those days.
You should go right back. I mean, when I started going as a kid, that was where I started to watch Bournemouth, and they brought it forward for safety reasons. But because I remember my dad telling me as a kid, he used to say behind those red boards there, you used to be able to go right to the back.
Yeah.
So,
But to get that many people in, could you imagine on Saturday against Liverpool trying to put 24,388 people in that ground? Would be impossible, wouldn't it? Because everybody's sitting down. Before I forget, the away attendance at Anfield in the replay. I mean, they drew this game 0-0. They lost the replay 4-1, which I'll talk very briefly about in a moment. That was 55,000 at that. So you add those two attendances together. Bournemouth did all right financially from this game. 24,388 and 54,000.
As you mentioned the Liverpool replay, I mean, this is the Liverpool side that come out that day.
Mm.
Goalkeeper Tommy Lawrence, know that name. I know Emlyn Hughes, Roger Hunt, Ian St. John,
Tony
Thomas.
Haitley.
There's just so many names there. Ian Callaghan. Is it Ian?
Yep.
Ian
Well,
Callaghan,
Roger.
is it?
Yeah, Sorry, Maddie. Go. You're right.
Yeah, is it Ian Callaghan?
No, Ian Callaghan. It was pronounced Callaghan. He was,
Thank you.
yeah, he was in the World Cup squad in '66. He didn't get on the pitch. Roger Hunt was a World Cup winner. Obviously, we all know Ian St. John through St. and Greavesy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Tony Haitley there went on to have a huge career. I think he ended up at Villa. I'm not 100% sure on that. Emlyn Hughes, captain of Wales. Ron Yates. I mean, great players. You wouldn't want to get tackled by Tommy Smith, I can tell you. Not the way tackles were in those days, you know. He was on the heavy side with his tackles. But, you know, Bournemouth at that point in that season, 67-68, they would have been halfway down Division 3. And for them to get a draw, and my memory of that game, I'm sure that Keith East hit the bar with a header and it just come back off the bar. I'm not saying they nearly beat them because I don't remember it that well. I know it was freezing cold, pretty miserable day. I mean, I went with my dad, and in those days, obviously there's no internet to get tickets. And what used to happen was you used to get, there we go. And Dave was across the way. He was in the newsstand. Yeah, Keith East was a handful. That's right. He's about 6'3". Dave was also there. He was in the newsstand with another mate of his. But in those days, what you have to do, there would be certain days, they put it in the Echo the week before, the box office would be open, I don't know, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon. And you just literally go to the ground and get in the queue to get tickets. That's the way, because I know my dad had to get off work to go and get those tickets. And wait for this, it used to cost £1 to sit down in those days. That's like $2 Australian, £1 to get in the stand. And it was 50p to stand at the south end or the newsstand, because I checked it out. Talk about inflation. But there's a few little things. I will make it pretty short. But Freddie Cox was the manager of that team, and that's before John Bond. Older people would know about Freddie Cox. And you want to thank Freddie Cox because he's the guy that brought Ted McDougall to Bournemouth. He signed him for £10,000 from York City in 1969. Then Freddie Cox, I believe, was sacked. And in comes John Bond. We all know about John Bond, with his son Kevin Bond, who came along the scene later on to be a manager. But at Ted McDougall's persuasion, he told John Bond to go back to York City and to buy Phil Boyer from York, who was his old strike partner. So John Bond went back and paid £20,000 for him in 1970, and they teamed up at Bournemouth to have such a successful time. And they paired up everywhere there. I think they paired up at Saints, they paired up at Norwich. Yeah, that's right. They were great careers. But so Freddie Cox has been brilliant in what he did for Bournemouth. Even though I'm sure he ended up getting the sack. But completely different days. On the replay, just very briefly, it was 4-1, and I was checking to see who scored for Bournemouth, and would you believe it was Emlyn Hughes? It was an own goal. But I know, we couldn't get a striker to do it, could we? It had to be one of them. But their scorers that day were Tony Haitley, 33 minutes, Peter Thompson, 44 minutes, Roger Hunt, surprise, surprise, 51 minutes, and Chris Lawler, 73 minutes. So it was pretty consistent pressure in that game, it seems. And you know the strangest thing, I saw the Liverpool programme. See down the bottom right, it says 1 shilling for that programme, the Bournemouth. The Liverpool programme was 6pence. That's crazy, isn't it? Our programmes were 1 shilling, and the Liverpool one for the replay was 6pence, because I looked at it online.
Yes, you did send me the photo. Yeah,
different game, different world, different times. You know, this is when a corner was a corner and it wasn't a wrestling match, you know what I mean? But how we've deteriorated to that, rubbish, I don't know. But that's another story. There you go, Maddie. That's my memories of that.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Just jump back to the comments very quickly before we get your views on today's game. Wow, what a team that was. The lineup was similar to the one when I first saw the Cherries.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
And spot on, Paul. Eddie Rolls was left wing.
Yeah.
There you go. Excellent. Well, let's talk about the small matter of today's game. I've used the old crests. I'm liking the look of the old crests for the moment. Why not? So I've given obviously my views in the social, but Paul, how do you see today's game going? You know, obviously the injuries which we've spoken about is going to, give Andoni a bit of a selection headache. You know, Liverpool's form hasn't been great. I don't think they've won since the 27th November or something.
November, yeah.
They're on a run of draws. I think they're kind of the draw specialists at the minute.
Yeah.
A bit of pressure on Arne Slot. How do you see this game panning out?
Look, you better hope that Liverpool are not going to have their best performance, because I think, it's heart and head, isn't it? Obviously, I want Bournemouth to win. Our squad is that depleted, Matt. I think if we had a stronger squad and things been a bit different, I think I look at the team. I mean, this is a world-class team. We know that. If they're on it, we're in trouble. As the cliche goes, I'd take a draw now. I'd be more than happy with the draw with our current situation. Things have been made very difficult with our squad, with the injuries and stuff. And it's not excuse, it's reality. We've got so many, and of course we've lost Antoine, haven't we? As we knew we would. What a player. Just with a couple of things. In the first game of the season, as you know, we lost 4-2 at Anfield. And I watched that game on TV, and Semenyo's goals were just incredible. Those goals he scored were incredible. We put up a great fight up there, and I think we got a lot of respect from the Anfield fans and the COP, saying what a great performance we put in. And we did. We put in a real fighting experience. I don't doubt we'll have a fighting experience tomorrow, but, I feel they might have too much for us on the bench, to bring on world-class players. And unfortunately, with no disrespect, we've got apprentices on the bench. We saw it at Brighton, didn't we? We didn't even have a forward to bring on, which is sad. But you go back to that first game, and even last season when we lost 2-0. Do you remember we lost 2-0 at Dean Court last season? There was that really dodgy penalty, Lewis Cook, where he just clipped the back of his heel and he went down like he'd been hit with a brick. And I still, to this day, thought that was a really harsh penalty. I think that penalty changed that game. Couple of other things. Obviously, Milos Kerkez will be back, so we'll be able to see him. And apparently, he's come into form with Liverpool. So, just I'll fire through the team real quick. I think the defence picks itself. We've got Petrovic, Truffaut, Senesi, Hill, Jimenez is what I'm going for. It's pretty obvious to me. Because of Christie's recent injury, I think they'll start Lewis Cook with Toth. I think Toth will start. Apparently, he's really physically fit, according to Andoni, and they'll probably push Alex Scott into the number 10 position behind the forwards, which pick themselves again to a degree, don't they? Krupi, Evanilson, and Adley, with Christie on the bench. But who knows? We can't see into the great man's mind. He might start with Christie, give him an hour, and then bring on Toth. You don't know, do you? But I'll be going for a draw, Matt. That's my prediction. And if we want to know your prediction, I believe it's on your show. Correct?
Yeah, it's social. So do check that one out. It's on the channel now. But let's just quickly jump into the comments. Our recent performances, this is from Malcolm, have been excellent against top opposition, which it has. We need to play better against the top opposition, and if we can go toe-to-toe with them, we can get a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Why not? Going to be a 3-2 home win. Let's hope so, Chris, because that will be one really good game of football if it is going to be a 3-2 home win.
Yeah.
There's going to be some emotions there. Well, thank you, Paul, for giving us your thoughts and opinions on today's game. So to wrap the show up, we're coming to our music and football connection part of the show. And this week, if you hadn't guessed already by the name of the podcast, or by the mug I've been drinking out of, or by my co-host having a slip up, this
Right.
connection is what is the connection with Pink Floyd and football? So let's just have a little bit of background and some facts about Pink Floyd. So co-founder Syd Barrett, I'm sure you love the Syd Barrett era, Paul, I'm sure, named the band after American bluesmen Pink Anderson and Floyd Council. The band has sold over 250 million records worldwide. Dark Side of the Moon has sold 50 million copies and stayed on the Billboard charts for a record 736 weeks. They've produced 15 studio albums, 7 live albums, and 12 compilation albums. They're the 4th highest selling band in the UK behind the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and Queen. In 2024, they sold their record music catalogue, name, likeness, but not songwriting rights, to Sony for roughly 400 million pounds.
Wow.
So there's some facts there about the Floyd. But what connects them to football is what the connection is. But we will get to that because I forgot this bit. But this is just a quick rundown on the albums by Pink Floyd, starting with The Piper of the Gates of Dawn in 1967 and finishing with The Endless River in 2014. Now, myself and Paul will give you some of our favourite albums at the end of this section. But yes, what connects them to football? Now, lead guitarist David Gilmour, the voice and the guitar of Pink Floyd, which football team is he said to support? Now, give you a couple of seconds of also for people to chuck some guesses in the chat if they want. One in there already. Wolves. Interesting. Let's reveal it, shall we? So David Gilmour is said to be a passionate supporter of London-based football club Arsenal. While some reports have associated him with other teams, he is commonly listed as a notable supporter of the Gunners. Well, next up then is Roger Waters. So he's the man behind Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon at the Wall. But which football team is he said to support? That's an interesting one. There's a few guesses here. Liverpool. I can see why the connection with Liverpool, which we'll touch on that very shortly. Villa. Interesting one there. Let's have a look. So Roger Waters is also said to be a lifelong supporter of Arsenal. As a North London boy, his loyalties have long been tied to the Gunners. While he is a fan of Arsenal, his work has occasionally intersected with other teams, such as using Liverpool's anthems in his music, which is true, which we will touch on very, very shortly. So here's one. This isn't just an interesting one. There's a song called The Gunner's Dream on their 1983 album, The Final Cut. It isn't about Arsenal, but the Gunners are dreaming of a title win this season, aren't they? So we just thought we'd chuck that one in as a little tie in there. But yes, Fearless is the third track on the Pink Floyd album Medal from 1971, which famously incorporates a field recording of Liverpool FC fans singing their anthem "You'll Never Walk Alone" at the beginning, end, and throughout the song. The song is known for its acoustic-driven, dreamy sound and is considered a highlight of the album. So that's one, isn't it, Malcolm? Where one of the facts you sent me for this, which, to be fair, I totally forgotten about until I re-listened to the album last night.
Yeah, it was a recording of the Cop, I think, at Liverpool, the Cop End, mate. And, great stuff. What a band. Look at the sales. I mean, people vote with their feet, don't they? They do. They love Pink Floyd, mate. I love Pink Floyd. You do. And look at this. More connections. Go, Maddie. Go.
Yeah, more connections. So the drummer helps to save Bolton. So Pink Floyd drummer Nick Mason is a key investor in the Football Ventures Whites Limited consortium that rescued Bolton Wanderers from administration and potential liquidation in August 2019. Though he's not involved with the club and its operations on a daily basis, his financial backing was instrumental in the club's survival. So that's another connection there to football. And yeah, drummer Nick Mason, who still tours now. He tours now with his band called Nick Mason's A Source for Secrets, I think they're called. I think it's named after the album. And he tours with Gary Kemp from Spandau Ballet and Guy Pratt, who was the bass player in Pink Floyd towards the end of Pink Floyd's career. So yeah, if you are a Pink Floyd fan and haven't seen them, do check them out, because they play all the psychedelic Floyd, all the Sid Barrett era.
He was here 18 months ago in Sydney at the State Theatre.
Was he?
He was doing the album A Saucer Full of Secrets, correct. Bang on.
Right, okay, I did wonder.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
And finally, Pink Floyd FC. So Pink Floyd established their own informal football team. Now you can see the members of the band at the front there. David Gilmour, Roger Walters, Nick Mason, and Rick Wright. Now Rick Wright wasn't actually associated to a football team, I don't think he was said to have been a supporter of any team in particular, but he was part of Pink Floyd FC. So during the 1970s, as a way to blow off steam, stay fit and maintain camaraderie during tours, sorry about that, and recording sessions, the team, often captained by Roger Walters, featured band members and their road crew playing against journalists, other bands and staff. There's photos which show Roger Walters, David Gilmour, Nick Mason and Rick Wright in full kit, with Walters often acting as a key player. They played matches during the 1970s, including games against staff from the Ballet de Marseille. I think I may have said that right.
Yep.
The team was a vital outlet for energy, highlighting the bands, especially Walters and Storm Ferguson's passion for sports. Now, Storm, he's the guy who is behind all their famous album covers. So everything from The Dark Side of the Moon to Wish You Were Here. I think virtually all of Pink Floyd's album covers, The Division Bell later on, Momentary Lapse of Reason. There's some really good album covers. So that's who Storm is. He designed all their covers. The 4-star Caviar, Think I'll Buy Me a Football Team line in the song Money is often linked to this endeavour. So Paul, Pink Floyd. I'll hand over to you for this one.
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough to see Roger Walters. Here we go. Lucky enough to see Roger Walters do the Wall in 2012 at Sydney's Acer Arena at Olympic Park, where they held the Olympic Park is where they had the Olympics in 2000. And it's everything you'd want if you get the opportunity to see either Nick Mason or Roger Waters go, because these guys are not getting any younger. Fabulous show when he did The Wall. And I believe Dave Gilmour's been touring in Europe,
Yes,
in Spain, I think. So he could well come to a venue near you in Britain at some
I think
point.
he's already done here. I think he's already done here because he released
Has
an
he?
album called
Fabulous.
Nothing Strange, and that's what he toured. I think he only did gigs at the Royal Albert Hall. I think he did like a few gigs there. I think.
Brilliant.
Rather than, I think to my knowledge.
Do you have any personal favourite albums that you like, Matt? Or?
I do, but I'll let you go first on this one because you've picked some of my favourites. So I've picked some obscure ones that maybe not in everybody's memory. So let's let you go first.
Well, I've got a few albums in front of me. Here we go. Saw Roger Waters at Hyde Park. Yeah. Obviously, we've got Dark Side of the Moon there, 1973 album. That particular album, you can see where my finger is in quadraphonic. They released a lot of their stuff in quadraphonic, which is like superior sound. But the cover is all about a prism on there, as you say, designed by the guy Storm. One of my favourite albums, love it. Top 50 albums of all time, that one's voted. Another album here, for those of you that haven't listened to Animals, I missed it. This came out in 1977 and it is so underrated. This is a fabulous album. If you've not listened to this, take the time, even if you listen to it on Spotify or YouTube, have a listen, you'll love it. That's Battersea Power Station on there. And you can see top left, there's a pig in between the chimneys. That's when they had that pig up there for a couple of days, I think. And at some point, according to the internet,
didn't they have to shoot it down? I think.
Yeah, it broke loose.
Or something broke loose.
Yeah, it did. It broke loose, and they had to get it down to shoot it to get it down. But it interfered with the aerospace over that area apparently. So that is I would thoroughly recommend that album. The last one, and I'll make it very brief. They've said it's 12 compilations to me. This, if you see that, a double album, Pink Floyd's double album, that's the one to get. No joke. It's called A Foot in the Door. It's got everything you'd ever want from Pink Floyd. Look at those. Look at that. The black and white.
Beautiful artwork, isn't it?
Oh, it's great artwork. Fabulous stuff. Top compilation. That's my three. I've got one more, which I've got on CD. And if you like Pink Floyd, Division Bell. Some people would never have heard of it. 1994 tracks on there. There's one track on there called Marooned. It's a fabulous. If you like Pink Floyd, those albums to me are top of the range. But go, Maddie, your turn.
Coming Back to Life is my favourite one on that album. I love that album.
Right.
So the Floyd for me then. So as I could have picked Wish You Were Here and others, but I thought as you picked some of the more famous ones, I'll go with something a bit more different. So I've gone with Pink Floyd's Delicate Sound of Thunder. Now this is a great live album. Now I'm a big fan of the Momentary Lapse of Reason album, and this is the tour that goes with that. But this version, there's a Blu-ray with the concert, which there's some extra tracks on there as well that they didn't include in the original concert film. So that is probably my favourite Pink Floyd live album. Then I've gone for one that not many people will probably know, and that is the soundtrack from the film called More, which is 1969, I think, if I remember rightly. And the second song on there, the Nile song, is probably more closer to heavy metal than you think Pink Floyd would ever get. So really heavy vocal, really heavy guitar. So I thought I'd pick a bit more of a different one. Never seen the film. Don't know what the film's about, but the music is.
And try to find that on used vinyl. You'll struggle. It's
Yeah.
You can get it on. Yeah, you can get it brand new, sealed up, 180 gram, paying a huge price for. But trying to find that from '69 is a difficult one to find in the market. Yeah.
Now, if you find it, you gotta keep hold of that because it might be
An original. Yeah, it is. It is a hard one to get. Yeah.
And finally, because another to do with the Division Bell, which is a great album that I love, is the final album by Pink Floyd, which is called The Endless River. This is a special edition here, which includes the song Louder Than Words. That's the only song on the album that has any vocals in it. The rest is all instrumental. But it's all from recordings from the Division Bell era. So, yes, they are my three choices from Pink Floyd's catalogue. But yeah, been a great show. It's been great to talk football. It's been great to talk a bit of music at the end, but also doing the connections to the band's connections to football. So yeah, it's been brilliant. So yeah, great bit of research there, Paul. So thank you very much. Let's just
your graphics, Matt. It's your graphics, mate. You do a wonderful job on the graphics. You really do.
Yeah, no worries.
For the show.
Yeah, no worries. No, it's all good fun. But you do all the research into it. So yeah, thanks for that. Joe, it's Malcolm. It's not Joe. Why am I saying Joe? It's Malcolm. We all know it's Malcolm. Really enjoyable show, guys. Thanks for doing this and looking forward to the next one. Yeah, cheers, Malcolm. Thanks for joining us. It's been great to have you with us. And Nick, Division Bell was the first CD I ever bought in Bournemouth as well. Wow, I'll tell you what, you couldn't buy many any better albums for your first purchase, I don't think. Not unless you were in the 70s and you bought Dark Side the Moon or A Night at the Opera or Led Zeppelin 2 or something like that. It's not many. But yeah, no, great to hear that. Cheers, Nick, and thanks for joining us today as well. Well, all that's left to say is that myself and Paul will be back with another On the Sidelines next week. There will be another. Same time, yeah, I believe so. There will be another musical connection, but obviously we'll discuss fixtures and Bournemouth content as well. So hopefully everyone will be able to join us then. But all that's left to say is fingers crossed. Let's hope the Cherries can get a result this afternoon. And yeah, Paul, I'll let you have the final word.
The final cut, you mean, Matt? The final cut, Matt. Great show, loving doing it. And I think if you want to keep tuning in, guys, subscribe, hit the like button. It really helps the channel. And thank you for your support. Very valuable people, very nice, lovely people to communicate with. All right. All the best, Matt. See you guys.
See you all soon.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.